up, what up, what up? Andrewcast, episode 23. Thank you so much for watching. I'm here with Paul Marchesani, famed creator of Forest Kids, and many other things. So much, really. This guy just has ideas and a lot of great music and is super creative. Thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, bud.
I know. All right, man. I want to just pretty much ask you about Forest Kids first, man. Like, what is Forest Kids, dude? What is the idea? What is the life? What is behind that?
Well, it's a lot to say. So I guess to start with it, it's a music, alias, as well as like a producer name, and it's like a whole idea, because it's a producer name. So like I make other aliases, like not called Forest Kids, but it's under like the Forest Kids moniker, you could say. And all these different names are gonna eventually be like characters and part of like this whole graphic novel series, like this whole world, and eventually hopefully an animated thing. But that's a pipe dream. As of now, we're just like really far away, you know.
And every character represents an album right now, right?
Yeah.
Or an EP.
Well, I wouldn't say an album or EP. Every character is a alias. Like, you know, like how
For you?
Yeah, for me. So like I have a solo band, Just the Architects, and that's a character, John Clyde Beechwood, in the like show series story.
The lore of Forest Kids.
Mm-hmm. So really all just depends what you're talking about, because they're all different characters, but like they're all under just like me making it. So like I'm making the music, and it's also a character. It's a lot to say. It's hard to put it in a box, you know.
It is. I mean, obviously, we're gonna plug like where people can listen to your stuff to get a better idea. But I just thought it was really cool, man, how you're personifying music. I feel like anytime you do that, you make a character for it. It's cool because it gets you into the mindset of this character. Even though you don't visually see it, you're kind of understanding like the tone and attitude of this character just by listening to the music, man. So like, what comes first for you when you're making the aliases? Like, is it the sound you're trying to do with that specific alias, or the character based in fiction first? Like, how does that creative process go? Or is it not really a concrete thing? Is it just kind of different every time?
It's kind of, well, at this point, it's different every time. I mean, this year I've only started making these names and making these, making them all like really expand. I mean, I've had some songs that like I'm making into projects for like a couple of years now, but like it's only been recent for me to be like, all right, well, I'm gonna make it all different. If it's like a different style, I'm gonna make it a different project, you know. So I like want to make certain styles that I haven't made yet, and so like now I'm thinking like, oh, that could be this kind of character, like, oh, that could be this kind of character. But for a while, like this year, like it's just been like given life to what's already been created.
Mm-hmm.
So like, oh, express windows like this, and then like I think about it more and I'm like, yeah, that actually makes sense. And like it's really, it all just, it's nothing's ever like forced either. It's all just like, that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, that feels right. And so it all just kind of falls into place, I guess. So
Yeah.
a little bit of both. It's kind of a cluster of how I think of it. But as of now, it's thinking of the character probably first.
Yeah, and for people who don't know, Express Windows is actually, that's an alias in itself. That's a character, which is something I was going to ask you about. A lot of your characters, they don't really have traditional names. It's almost like their phrase is their name, you know, which is cool.
But like some will have proper names,
Right.
and some will be like, oh, that's just like my name, or like it'll be like a nickname maybe. Or people will just call them X, you know, he'll just be called X, and that's just his name, or something like that. And like, or, you know, we'll expand on that eventually, or like he finds out his name.
Yeah.
He actually has like amnesia, So like that's
the
why.
character of Express Windows.
Yeah, that's why he's like he's a very secluded character for a while in the story that we'll come to find out.
That's dope, man.
Myself included.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, your creative process is, it's not like you have everything planned out. A lot of it is kind of improvisation, which I think leads me to my next question. I'm not even sure I asked you this like in our discussing before, but what are like, when it comes to being creative, not even just music, like when it comes to making stuff, like who are your biggest inspirations? Like just immortal, like musical acts or immortal artists that like their mantras are always with you. Like you just see their influence in everything.
Definitely gotta shine some light on Boards of Canada.
Just
for
started
sure.
listening to them, by the way, thanks to you and my roommate.
Yeah,
Dude, some of that stuff was creeping me out, man. But I like it though.
That's
I
what I'm
like
saying.
it. It's like
Oh
a
my
movie
God.
soundtrack, but at the same time, man, you're like, bro, where am I? Like that music takes you on a journey, dude.
man, the history of some of that stuff is fucking crazy. Can I curse on this?
Hey, man, say what you got to say.
Okay.
Be yourself. But
it's crazy, but like you play it in reverse, and it's a whole nother experience.
yeah.
It's like, man, that's what I like the whole kind of, and they're so faceless, they're so like,
Speaking of faces, that's the one I was listening to. I was listening to the album where none of them had faces. That Boards of Candle.
oh
that's,
yeah,
that's the first one.
Music Has the Right to Children.
Yeah, dude.
That's one of the earlier ones for sure.
There's this weird interlude in that album where it's just like,
I
love you.
love do, 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 do. Love. It's so weird,
Dude, weird is an understatement, but I was digging it. My roommate described it as kind of like the Beatles Revolution number 9 kind of thing. You ever heard about that? Where
Yeah.
it's just like number 9, and it's just like insane.
Turn me on, dead man. Turn me on.
It's insane stuff. That's how I felt listening to some of Boards of Canada.
Yeah.
But I vibed with it too. It was very chill.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a Revolution number 9 vibe for sure. Like Gio Gotti has like so many polytheistic type crazy parts of it where it's like a god with hooves. It's like this old man. Like if you play it in reverse, you hear it.
Really?
Yeah, like if you listen to it forward, you just hear it in reverse.
Is not to make you sound crazy. Is this a known thing or is this your interpretation?
No, like it's like a known thing. Like there's
Okay.
like so many hidden things in Gio Gotti that like
Okay.
look it up and like it reversed. You know, people have so many videos on YouTube and like all the hidden things in the record, and it's like, whoa, like there's a lot of really cool videos that like point out all the crazy shit.
Yeah, dude.
It's like, oh my god. But like that kind of stuff is great, and kind of really close to talking about boards is like the whole David Firth guy. He did like Salad Fingers and all that. Like that's Boards of Canada music, the Salad Fingers tune. Like all that stuff like is so out there. Like if you really watch his other stuff like Spoilsbury Toast Boy or Sock, like it's all about like Sock's all about dreams, or it's like so dumb. Like they're hilarious and like creepy. And
Are these
like
the cartoons?
yeah, they're all cartoons and they're all unsettling as
But
hell.
he doesn't make the cartoons, right? He makes the music.
David Firth makes the cartoons, and like that's
And he makes the music?
no, he uses sometimes he makes the music as like Lotus Toy Box is his thing, but like it's so creepy because like it'll be, we're out of lice pictures, like a dog says to a guy, and it's like, what? And
Lice?
lice pictures, and there's like pictures of lice everywhere, or like there's beetles that are like these really creepy guys, and like all those kind of environments always like inspired me of like, man, that's so weird, like,
Yeah.
but yet like it's attractive to me in some point of like how empty and like post-apocalyptic almost kind of. It's
Right.
really weird and empty. Like I always loved those vibes.
I feel like you and I share a passion for like alternative animation, like just really weird like cartoons.
Yeah, we're talking about claymation on the way over here.
Yeah.
So
Like there's so much claymation stuff to get into, but like Courage the Cowardly Dog, I think is kind of like the gateway weird animation for a lot of people. Where it
empty,
uses a lot of
desolate.
mediums. Yeah.
Same. I'm telling you, that was my favorite show too. Like
But that show would always like it would be 2D animation, then some parts would be like 3D animation, then some parts would be like really like real looking in the way it was animated. Like it juggled a whole bunch of different styles, and for me, I could not look away.
Like, remember when he was like going up the tower and like the girl's playing violin and just turns out like,
Yeah, the bass.
yeah, that scares the shit out of me. Like, it still does to this day.
Yeah, no, there's some like genuinely frightening moments in that show that you're just like, whoa, but you're never like too scared to watch. It's like a friendly scary. I can't describe it.
I still remember the one episode too where it was like the white face in the basement is like, you have to grow something.
Oh, dude, the one that's like encased by water.
Yeah,
he has a dream about it. I forget what he
no
says.
no I don't think it's encased by water. It's just like the white, and it's like a real man's face.
Oh, it's a real man's face.
Yeah,
yeah, and it has like the black eye.
Yeah, it looked like the whole scary stories to read in the dark,
or kind of Zordon from Power Rangers.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh, the scary. Oh man, I forgot all about that book.
Yeah, like that kind of shit too, you know. That's like, I would barely read the stories, but like I just loved looking at that art.
Yeah, man.
Like I would just get those books just to have them.
Mm-hmm.
I would barely read the stories though.
Yeah, no, I was the same exact way. I think what was so gripping about, and everybody knows about that book because in elementary school, like that was just the one that was like floating around. Like it was Goosebumps. So it was kind of like an era of like child-friendly horror.
Mm-hmm.
And what I always remembered is that those illustrations were never really colored. Like they were always in black and white, but there was so much expression in it. Like there was so much scary stuff. That's one of the books that like made me take drawing seriously. When I was like, wow, like
the scary stories to read in the dark.
I was like, how come I feel so strongly just looking at this drawing? Like, ugh, I get repulsed.
Yeah,
that's good art right there. You know?
Exactly. It was just like, damn, this is so weird. Like it's like the uncanny valley, but like I'm enjoying my stay.
You were like me when I was a kid, man. I loved like all that weird stuff. For me, I was never scared of it. I was like, whoa, I need to see more of this.
Oh my god.
Uncanny Valley is pretty real though, man. When I played like old video games from like PlayStation era and stuff, like it's just weird some of the stuff now, you know?
Yeah. Like you ever play a cube game? What was it called? It's like iCube. It was like something like about your IQ, but you were just this guy like trying to like get these blocks or whatever, and like so you wouldn't get crushed by these like cubes. And like
what system is this on?
This was on PS1.
Really?
And you get like run off this runway. Like the whole game was just you're on this runway, and like there's this like play, 2-player options.
Was it Japanese?
Credits.
What type of game is this?
It's the weirdest game I've ever played, man.
It's called Cube?
It's called like iCube. It's like the intelligence cube. That's what it's called.
Okay.
And you're like this guy trying to like get these cubes in the matter of time, so you don't get crushed by the cubes or like fall off the runway. Right. And it's so like, what the.
You have a Dreamcast. I went over your place. I saw a Dreamcast.
Yeah.
You ever play Seaman?
No. Seaman?
Yeah, dude.
That sounds horrifying.
It is pretty horrifying.
I have the Dolphin game. I have the Echo the Dolphin game. Like the Vaporwave game.
Oh, is that like a Vaporwave's like claimed game there?
It's one of the claims. It's like there's the orca, the whale one, and then there's the dolphin one, and they're both just like that, like vaporwave. Like it's
Really?
just so, yeah. It's the vaporwave.
Seriously?
Thing. It's like one of the vaporwave things.
Dude, I've been
like C-Punk, all that dumb shit.
I'm
know?
trying to get into that. So I have a Dreamcast somewhere in this room, but I definitely got to get that game. Echo the Dolphin game, and then Orca. They're both like.
Yeah, they're both like SeaWorld based games, but they're pretty. They're so trippy because like you get dizzy immediately because you can just like keep flipping 360 and stuff. You know.
Is it like from a side view?
No, it's like from like you're behind the dolphin. Like this is the dolphin, and you can just like flip eternally, and you're just like, oh god.
You ever played the old one for the Sega Genesis?
No, there's an old. Oh, I had it for my handheld. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was hard too.
Dude, that one was like the side of you just like, flipping around the whole time.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do with a game about a dolphin.
Yeah, right. It's like, yeah, save the world with these crystals or whatever. I'm like, no
That's
way.
what it was. You had to like bark into the crystals and it would light them up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Dude.
you got you hear a little dolphin squeak.
Echo the Dolphin, man. So Boards of Canada and scary cartoons. Anything else?
Mm.
That like you look at every now and then for inspiration, or maybe inspiration just comes from kind of like an unknown place for you?
Well, you know Dragon Ball Z.
Dude.
That's just like a cool thing. Like, it's like, I don't know, the whole fantasy and exploration of that always kind of like was really cool. And like the energy thing was always really cool because it wasn't too like complex ever.
No.
And it wasn't too stupid.
Yeah.
It, at least to my opinion, a lot of people will say it's like pretty dumb. Oh, they scream the entire time. It's like, well, that's because it's like kind of slow motion. All right.
Is that how you see it?
That's how. I mean, come on.
I always saw it
In 5 minutes.
and everything's That's true. I'd say the pacing sometimes doesn't match the episode count, but I think like the screaming in Dragon Ball Z is just anger, man. Just anger and energy. Oh yeah.
The Super Saiyan 3 theme.
The Bruce Falconer soundtrack. That's the one most people remember. I
Yeah.
think that's what you're referencing.
Like that super ripping guitar.
This is to go even further beyond.
Yeah.
He
He passed out in the booth for that. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Sean Schemmel when he was recording that?
Yeah. He,
Oh,
like I watched like the behind the scenes. And he's like, yeah, right here I fell over. I was doing the Super Saiyan 3 thing. It was like the first take or something.
There's some interesting AMAs with Sean Schemmel and Chris Sabat, the guy who does the voice of Vegeta, and Sean, who does the voice of Goku.
Chris Sabat does everybody. He's in every anime.
Yeah, he's the voice director of Dragon Ball, but he's also in One Piece. He's Zoro in One Piece. What other stuff does he do?
He's Armstrong in FMA, and he's also like 3 other characters in FMA. Like
what's FMA? Am I out of the loop?
Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh man,
The Armstrong for generations.
is Armstrong the guy? He's like bald.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
jacked?
He's always taking his shirt off. Yeah, that's Vegeta.
I just remember the scene where he's handshaking that guy, and they both like, you know, like they like flex like. super
Yeah,
hard.
exactly. Or, like every time he like breaks something, it's just like his heads instead of like rubble. Like it's always shaped nicely. His explosions and stuff.
Yeah. So obviously, specifically, anime was a big.
Yeah,
inspiration
anime
for you.
is very cool.
Yeah. What other ones are you into besides Z?
I don't know. Yeah, Full Metal Alchemist. Soul Eater is really cute. I like that one.
Yeah, that has kind of like a Japanese Tim Burton style. I'd
Yeah,
say, to the way it looks.
definitely. That's all. Yeah, we were
Very-
talking about that. Like it's all face-like and stuff.
Faces, yeah. Well, I was talking about John and Vasquez, the guy who made Invader Zim, when I was talking about that. Like everything has a face.
Yeah, Invader Zim for sure. I don't know. Just weird cartoons, anime. Oh yeah, other animes probably Duravara. I like. You never seen that one? That's like some. It's like about like just a bunch of people in the city. It's really cool. I just watched Tokyo Ghoul. That's awesome too. Like damn.
Duravara, is that the one with the really weird theme song where like people are like falling through the sky and stuff?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm way out there. Wait, what is Tokyo Ghoul about, man?
Tokyo.
I don't even
It's about
know.
ghouls, and they're in Tokyo.
I'm sold. Let's watch it right now.
Yeah, they eat people, and they have like their power thing is like they get this like stuff that comes out. It's like some weird tentacle, or it can be like some other kind of crazy shit. It could be like knives, or like it could be like some kind of flame thing, and like it's like a wing.
Sounds kind of like Parasite, if you've ever seen that.
Yeah, it's a little like that.
It's a weird anime.
And they just got crazy shit going on, you know. The one dude gets like an organ transplant with a ghoul, and so he like is a half and half, and that's a whole story about that. And they can't eat food; they can only eat people. So like food like disgusts them. It's like eating shit or something. And so like they just only drink coffee. That's the only thing they can stomach for some
Really?
reason. Yeah, it's really cool actually. It's really cool.
Why is that such a reoccurring theme in anime where it's always like it's supernatural people and like humans interacting with each other, but like it's always like some like demon realm. It's like I'm half demon, half human. Like that's almost like the
Bleach
typical-
or something.
But like every anime is like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like my father was of demon heritage and my mother was a human. Like I feel
I'm
like
a Saiyan from this planet.
exactly.
you
It's
know?
always like that. It's always like an inhuman It's like human in appearance, but inhuman in ability. And I guess that just comes from their folklore. Why is that such a reoccurring theme? Why is that such an attractive theme? I feel like that's the same reason why people like superhero movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Because everyone wants to be something they're not. Like that's a thing. Like Terrence McKenna says a lot too, of like stuff like that. Like there's a very attractive view to leave the body or to be more than this, you know? Like we can perceive greater being, you know, and like power and stuff like that. And like but like we can't do stuff like that or like fly away or like go to another realm or some crazy thing like that. Like it's so attractive, but like I don't know, cuz like people love escapism. I
Yeah.
mean, like, what's someone watching this right now doing? They're
Right.
escaping their reality or something like that, you know,
Into
like
a strange conversation.
into a conversation about this.
That's true, man. I don't know. I guess because I work in media and you're somebody who works in media too, I have a fascination of like how people differentiate what they want to escape into. Like some people watch soap operas. I could never. Like I watched like one soap opera. I'm just like, this is not like. Are you
Yeah.
really waiting for the next episode? Like this is just poor. Right
Yeah.
now, you know.
Especially if you have a good HD TV, then you like see everything. You're just like,
Ooh.
oh man, this is tough. Is that the set light? Like, oh man.
I'm big into visualizers, man. My thing is just like putting a visualizer up on my TV. With PlayStation has some pretty cool ones, and just playing music, man. That's the best. That's escape right there.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. There's always such an attractive thing that I mean, like, why do you want to be anything? Because you don't want to just be a person. You don't want to be like an animal. You know, you want to have a title. You want to have a something. You know,
Yeah.
whether it be like physically escaping into your house
Right.
or escaping into a title or a position to escape. I don't know. I don't know if that's a weird tangent, but you kind of get what I'm saying there.
Well, yeah. You want to have some kind of identity besides your identity.
That's what I mean.
You gotta you gotta have a maximum of 2 identities at all times. You're just normal, go to work 9 to 5 self. And
Like,
then
I'm a
your alter
student.
ego. Yeah.
But I'm also this, and I'm also that, and I do that on weekends. I also you know.
Well, to bring it full circle, I feel like that's the theme of your musical collective of Forest Kids. It's like you can be a billion people at once, man. Express Windows, you could be, you know, Gold Eater, you can be all these crazy things.
That's how I thought of it. Like, everyone was always just like everyone around me who did music was very, yeah, like I got all these songs, but I don't know how I feel about that, or like I don't know if I'll do anything with that. I'm like, I don't give a shit. It's no skin off my back if I put it out or not.
Right.
It's like I think it's pretty good. And I'm obviously don't have money to do anything professional or crazy big with it. I mean, it's not something radio friendly. It's not something people like everywhere probably. But hell, I like it. I know there's probably a couple other people that'll like it. Why not put it out?
Yeah.
And so after a while, I just always thought like, well, yeah, like I could just make it another project. Like that's not really this anymore. I'd like that to be like a whole nother separate thing because I'm really proud of this work.
Right.
And so like that's how like, you know, say I in the beginning I only had like Crossing Bridges and Forest Kids, and then I wanted to do Express Window
Yeah.
because like I just had these beats and I was like, oh, this is really cool, different, and incorporates a lot of stuff I don't normally do.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'll make it something different. And then after that, I made another like beat tape thing, but it was completely different and using different software and different stuff. And I was just like, this is like another thing. I guess I could do another name. And then at that point, I was like, well, I don't really see a reason to cap this. Like,
Yeah.
my specialty is like to be able to write something and put it out. And it's, you know, it's pretty, because I don't make stuff that like a lot of people are into. I don't make like, oh, I want to go home and write all these band songs. Like I could do that. Like I just don't want to. I want to write weird electronic music that like does like cool changes and there's like stuff you can like just listen to passively, stuff like that, or sleep to. So it's a lot easier for me to write things like that than band music because like that is tedious, and I feel like I don't know, at a point, if you're not working with people, it's kind of like you're kind of doing the same thing, unless like I think working with people really like changes band music a lot. But like today, like there's so many bands doing the same thing. Like it just turns me off picking up a guitar and using it like that even more. So I stick to like weird electronic stuff because I think that's very more fluid, and there's a lot more untapped potential, and like there's a lot more doors left unopened in the electronic era than like a guitar, you
Right.
know. Then that's how I look at it.
Younger scene with electronic era.
For
Not only
sure.
an artist, but also in just potential and possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask you that, like, why electronic music, why beat tapes, but you just answered that.
And plus it's just yeah, it's my flavor. It's what I like.
Yeah, man.
Like I love the sound of real drums, but like I also like the sound of it's like, oh, that's wild, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really, it's all just a specific thing for me. It's not like if it's good or not. Like it's just a flavor. Like I don't really see something as good or bad. I mean, yeah, there's bad stuff,
Obviously, yeah.
but yeah.
To you, it's like I would describe like what you played for me recently as something that is, it's one of those things that you have playing like while you're working on something or while you're doing something, you know, like it's really making your mind focus on the task at hand. Like I was drawing while I was listening to, I forget what tape you played for me. You know, you played Gold Eater and then you played something else.
I played the new Express Window, which is gonna come out like this month or so.
Nice.
And then I played Gold Eater.
Yeah, and I was like, when I heard Gold Eater, I thought I was like going into a cave, man.
Yeah.
That's what it made me feel like I was going underground. The
Yeah,
beats on it just like, doom, doom, like it's just, oh,
It's real gritty and angry, and
Yeah,
like
man.
I can't do that. Like I feel like I'm very melodic and pleasant is like my default. Like if I picked up an instrument, it wouldn't be like dun, dun.
Of course,
It'd
not.
be like very
Pretty.
melodic and pretty. And
So what were you
yeah.
going through a moment with Gold Eater, or you just wanted to explore that tone?
I
What
was just
going
like,
on?
man, I was like, man, I'm too pretty. I want to write something a little bit tough. Like,
Yeah.
damn, like I gotta write something tough.
Toughen up.
I used to play in like a death metal band and stuff like that. So like, I have like a love for that kind of music.
Which is so weird to me, man, because when I first met you, like your demeanor is so not death metal when I talk to you. But
Yo, Lamb of
that's
God.
in the eye of the beholder. You just seem like so very like,
Dude, System, even though it's not death metal, but like,
dude, I know nothing about that scene, but you just seem like a very like not metal, death metal kind of person.
nah, my Blink 182 hoodie doesn't give that away.
I mean, also just like I don't know. When I listened to your beat tapes, I was like, this is so chill, and I think it highlights the dichotomy, like the differences between, you know, your identity in music, which is like you'll make something that's out of your wheelhouse, but just because you want to. It's not for anybody else. It's because you think it sounds cool, and then you'll just make stuff that like you typically make, you know.
Mhm.
So you're all over the place with it, which is really dope.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've lost. Like, I don't know what my forte is anymore because it's spread so far. I'm like, well, I do that pretty well, and I do that pretty well, but I don't know what to call my best. Maybe like definitely Forest Kids. I pride the most in my releases, but I like to think they're just a compilation of like all the other acts coming together and making a potluck of a record, pretty much.
Right.
So it's like, you know, all A to Z people coming in.
That's another thing I was going to ask. So I may have asked you this already, but just to clarify for people that are listening, Forest Kids is a group of music alias, each with like different sounds according to the characters of the alias, which are all fictional and depicted by you. But the catch with Forest Kids is that there's one character for every letter of the alphabet. Why the alphabet? Is there any significance behind that choice? Or just because you wanted to have a wide number to play around and have variety with?
Yes to both.
Okay.
Because definitely the wide variety was like appealing, but like I work in weird ways. Like I was like making my bed or some shit, and like in my head I was like, for some reason I just thought like Forest Kids 26 like rolled off my tongue. Even though thinking about it now, it really doesn't if you think about it.
No,
But
it's like a screen name.
yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I was like, oh shit, that's how many letters there are. And so, right? It's 26
No,
letters.
you're right, yeah.
Okay, yeah. You're making me get all worried over here.
No.
But yeah, I always, I know I'm going to make a lot. And so 26 just, I mean, the alphabet, I don't know. It just made sense to me. It made like a good goal. It made like a good cap because it seemed
Right.
far away, but not close enough. You know?
It's like a realistic challenge. I'm the same way with my graphic novel. When I wrote the story for my graphic novel, I decided how many chapters there would be. So now when I work, I'm like held to that number of chapters and pages within a chapter to complete. It's cool to set like parameters, but you know, it's really whatever happens up in your brain.
Yeah, and like I don't know, it's just yeah, it seems nice. It's like nice and in a box, at least in my head. Like I can go like down the alphabet. Like I'd feel incomplete just saying, "Oh, it's like 20 people," or like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's like some random thing and there's like 3 people with the letter F in their name." Like I wanted it to be real specific and like organized almost. Like it's this guy. This guy is X. Bam.
Boom.
It doesn't confuse X. All right, this guy's Y, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Cool. Yeah, there's something about having a list that just has us really satisfied.
Yeah.
It's the satisfaction, man. Like if you wake up every single day and like you know what you're gonna get done and you just write a list of all that, and by the time you go to bed it's all done. There's few better feelings than that, man. You feel so energized.
Checklist. Oh, that's yeah. My girlfriend's really all about lists, so she gets proud of me when I make a list. So
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
What got you into music originally? If you don't have to dive too deep, but like if you just want to highlight that, man, like what are like the things that you look back and you're like, all right, I'm doing this now. Forest Kids is kind of like a big thing for you, and the solo band and stuff. Like if you look back at like your original ideas to get interested in music, like what had an influence with that? Life scenarios, like any kind of stuff.
Well, I always loved music. I was always just like about music. Like it was like a part of my life. Like there was like, okay, you have TV, video games, and then there's music. Like, damn, like that's a cool part of like the whole thing. Cause
Well,
like, you know,
you just had an all media upbringing, man.
yeah, well, you know,
Just get hit with it.
yeah, like I was always all about music, and I had an older brother, and he was a really good guitarist, and yeah, I was always about music. I was always like even like listening to music, going like, "Oh, Dad, like how do they get the record to sound like the snare is like the same hit every time? Is he using like an electronic drum kit or something?" And my dad's like, "No, it's like compressor. You know, it's something makes it sound the same each time or something like that."
So you had a fascination with the sound as well.
Yeah, I
as
was
a
just
kid.
like, damn, what? Like, or like, or like, I remember my brother saying like, yeah, the bass in this is crazy. I'm like, bass? And I'm like, oh yeah, there is a bass guitar in bands. Oh, that's what the bass is. And like,
yeah.
you know, that first time you hear it, like, piece out in a song
Mm-hmm.
or in a band. And so, I remember just one day he just turns to me. He's like, "Hey, you should play drums." And I was like, "Okay."
Your dad or your brother?
My brother.
Okay.
And yeah, that was it. I
Yeah.
just started playing drums. And then I was in his band the next year playing death metal. And then I was in high school doing drumline. And from there, I was just like, okay, I'm a musician. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
And then I started doing like synth stuff and guitar stuff and in an indie band. And then like doing beats on the side too. So that was cool. Like, old band Overfield, RIP.
Can you see yourself without music? Like, if you didn't find that avenue, what would you be doing?
Oh, God. Drugs. I don't know. Nothing, man. Like music is everything. Like and I was in community for a while going like, yeah, I'm gonna be a computer science major and I can't get past algebra like one some shit. And so I'm like, yeah, maybe that's not for me. Maybe I'll just do what I'm actually good at, I feel.
What caused you to say that? Was it societal pressure?
It was failing college algebra like 3 fucking
No, I'm
times.
saying what had you initially say that you wanted to get into computer science?
Oh, I don't know. I was like, man, maybe I'll like, get a luft job. I don't give a shit. I don't mind going to a cubicle and stuff. Like I wouldn't care. Like I would just have fun outside of work. That lie everybody tells themselves. And
Yeah, I'm laughing because it's true, man.
yeah, super the biggest lie. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll like do something cool and like make my own doll. Like I really want to make my own doll.
What got you into that?
I don't know. I was just like, I would always like try to learn different software, and it would always be like, damn, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, why can't there just be a simple doll or something? Like, why can't like they all be the same, or just like this simple way? Like, oh, I have it in my head on how awesome and simple it could be.
What is doll a code thing or?
No, it's like digital audio workstation, like Pro Tools, GarageBand.
Oh, yeah.
Like I think of my own like program like that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that'd be so cool to write my own, and like it'd be easy for me to write music too. So boom, I'll do that. And then like, here like Radiohead does like crazy shit like that too for like they code certain things in their programs.
Really?
Oh my god, it's insane the stuff they do. They are I want to say they're underrated because like people who know what they do like overrate them.
Yeah.
They're very fucking awesome.
My
But
best
like
friend-
a lot of people know like how to like they ride on them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my best friend and my roommates are obsessed with Radiohead.
I mean, they're amazing,
Yeah.
but like I don't know. I'm not that big of a fan of them, but like they are incredible. Like
Yeah.
and something to like aspire to of like a musician or like producer even.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy to like program your own stuff to like be in the right hertz and or like certain frequencies you're pushing out. Like that's some what's it called? Semiotics.
Okay.
Like sound wave stuff.
Yeah.
Like old Egyptian like people figured that shit out. That like if you like poured like a sound frequency onto like some sand, it goes into this trippy shape. I'm not fucking with you. And then like it'll be on like this like statue carved in, and then it's spelled like the notes that's on the dude's thing. It's like a lute thing he's playing, and it has like the notes for semiotics and shit. It's like, how the fuck did they know that?
Bro, where can I see this?
Look up. I'm pretty sure it's semiotics. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I'll check it out.
Oh
I'll
my
look it up.
god,
I'll
it's
look up
crazy though. And that
Egyptian-
kind of stuff like blows my mind, and that just makes me want to keep doing music. Like
Yeah.
electronic music is just like the calculation of that stuff.
How do you feel about the theory part of it? Not because what you're talking about is kind of like the science, like hard
Yeah.
numbers, but then there's all that theory, like music theory class and stuff like that.
I mean, that's all crazy too. I mean, I used to take AP theory in high school and stuff, but I mean, I'm not a wizard. I'm not classically trained or anything like that. Like I can read music and like I know what a key is.
Yeah.
I'm not just like one of those like the Family Guy was on the other day, and they like made like this electronic music joke, or it was just like, oh yeah, like the guys who first made electronic music, and like it's just two guys in a studio, and there's a guy's like playing keyboard. He's like, wait, so what key are we in? And the guy's like, nah.
That's how he says.
Yeah, it's like none of that here, something like that.
They ripped on Daft Punk too. I'm not sure if you ever saw that one.
Oh, I'm sure they
But it's
did.
like he won another award, and he's just like, great, and like he's just like, all right, cool, time to perform again, and like they literally like press play on something, like it was just something dumb like that.
Well, I mean, there is a lot of people that do that, and electronic music people wrote their own check for that. Like, there's like GIFs and like other dumb shit where like people,
Memes.
yeah, and other memes where they're at like huge festivals, and the dude's like putting his hand over a knob and pretending to spin it, and like
Just going like that.
and it's just like, damn, you're like, you sold your own stuff with that. Like, you made it a joke by making it that easy for making these assholes big.
Yeah.
Like, you made it a joke. Like you're gonna be like, oh, don't rip on. It's like you're the one
That's
dressing like a crazy person, and acting like a crazy person to dump, 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 dump,
yeah.
dump. And if you're into that, that's
That's
I mean,
cool, yeah.
it's all what you're into. I mean,
Mhm.
if I was deep on drugs and at that place for free, I'd have a great fucking time
Of
too.
course, man. Like people will be all about it. I don't understand when people look down that stuff because like, you know, it if you're not composing it live, and some people do compose it live, some people have like live remixes they do, but even so, like they made it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some artistry to that at least. You know, it's not as easy as everyone makes it.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying like doing DJ stuff or even hard style is not hard to do, no pun intended. But like even doing remixes is like a whole art form. Like that's electronic music. That's tough. Like that's
Yeah.
hard to do. But then again, there are the people that just put a drum beat or over top something and like a filter and like makes the program do it all and sync it all up, and there you go with your thing you bought at the store for
Yeah.
half the paycheck you made this week, and there you go, have a great time, congratulations, you're now a DJ. I hope you get a bunch of followers on your SoundCloud. Like
We're in that kind of thing though, but I feel like the whole EDM scene is kind of going away in change for this trap stuff that's coming up, or is that considered to be the same thing? I feel like trap is taking over.
yes and no.
You kind of have your ear to the ground, no pun intended, more, or nose to the ground, whatever it is, more than I do. So
It's the same thing, like I have a couple of people I know. Damn, I love Toblerones.
dude, take as much as you want. You can pause.
You know how fucking hard it is to be like, oh, we're gonna talk for a bit, and you throw this motherfucking monster Tobler.
Dude,
This is an hour and a half of me eating chocolate. That's what that
we're
is.
blessed, man. God is good. Enjoy it.
That is good. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I know a lot of people who they make EDM, as in like dance music.
Yeah.
And it's not easy what they do, or like they put a lot of analog shit into it, or like modular stuff. I'm not saying like you have to be analog to be good, but like it means you kind of know what you're doing at least, or sometimes at least. But like some people put a lot of work, and there's like a lot of crazy shit that goes on in some EDM that's like, wow, this is insane. Like, whoa, this is busy. And I was like, yeah, good for you, cool. Like, but it's just that's not for me, like the super ampy stuff.
Yeah.
But like trap is also, oh, that's
Yeah, I want to know how you feel about that, man, because that's like the number one thing right now.
trap is okay. That is all I'm gonna say. I mean, like it's cool. Again, like there's some people that make really original stuff that's like, oh shit,
Yeah,
this
like,
is
whoa,
wild.
It's popping, yeah.
Like it's kind of like a needle drop effect for me. Like I know what the rest of the song's probably gonna be like from the beginning, like on what's incorporated in like the first 30 seconds of most electronic music.
Really? So you're like predicting a drop? You're like, this is what the drop's gonna be like.
Well, I mean, what happens after the drop is typically the surprise. It's like it's kind of like magic at this point, because it's like people are like, and here's what happens in the song, because you're like, oh, this is like the first time you heard Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites, you probably you heard it yourself and was like, this is fucking crazy, and you played it for your friend, and they're like, okay, cool, it's synthesized, and you're like, no, wait.
Yeah.
And you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're like, oh my god, like that is, oh my god. You're like, isn't this fucking crazy? Like, what is this? Like, that's what everyone's trying to do.
So shock value.
With the drop. Yeah, there's a definite shock value in that kind of music. But like trap, there's it's more of like song based than like build drop, build drop, build drop.
Yeah.
It's more like verses and bars and stuff like that. So yes, there are a lot of original good people, but there's also a lot of people who use like cut and paste type, like same drum beat, like on like And like they just change the background stuff
Yeah.
from like a different reversed piano to like some other shit that they're probably not even playing. Stuff like that. Like that's the kind of stuff I'm just like, all right, cool,
Yeah.
great.
So on every level, there's just kind of like cream of the crop stuff, and then stuff that just like cookie cutter because of the trends, really.
Yeah, I mean, and I get their purpose. Like, no people who like say like, "Oh, I hate this kind of music because it's stupid." That's so ignorant. Because it's like, yes, there's music that's made for you to cry alone in your bedroom or something, and yeah, there's music to make you shake your ass.
Yeah.
Like, music is very wide, and a lot of people, you know,
tunnel
like,
vision. Dude, we had that conversation on the last episode of the podcast. I was talking about like old rappers getting on young rappers' heads, like y'all ruining the game. My whole thing is just like that's a whole different game they got going on. You know what I'm saying?
the game is a joke. The thing is, if you care, you lose. Like that's the whole thing. It's like
What do you mean by that?
it's kind of like you give a shit, you give too big of a shit, you lose. Like
Yeah.
you try to be something too hard, you lose. So it's almost like they're like, "Ha, look at me. I'm doing this. I just made so much money for doing nothing,
Yeah.
and you're still buying it." And
Yeah.
like they're singing, they're literally rapping and singing about
Goofy
how
stuff.
how much money they're making off of doing goofy shit,
Yeah.
popping Zans, doing whatever, like doing cool drugs and doing cool things.
Right.
And they're just like, and you're paying for it. They're literally telling the listener how they're paying for it.
It gets people so mad, bro.
Exactly. And another thing is they know everything they're doing. You think
Yeah.
all those people are really that oblivious
Yeah,
and stupid?
Take it seriously. Like this is a masterpiece.
You think
No.
that dude is really sitting in some row home with a throne in the middle of the living room
Yeah.
drinking perp? Like, that's not really happening. And
Of course not, man.
he knows exactly what he's doing. They know exactly what they're doing with the names, with the music videos.
Yeah.
And because they know it's going to sell, and they know it's like, hi, I'm also like being myself and having a good time.
Right, man. I feel you on that, dude. I feel like again, man, it's all like what you're into, like what you like. And if you like that kind of stuff, then it's cool. You know what I'm saying, man? But if you don't, that's just how it goes. And people that hate on it, man, they don't understand exactly what you said, that a lot of these like trap artist personas, like they're fake. They're just whatever phrase you want to use, trolling. Like they're just having fun, man.
Trolling is the best term for a lot of them. It's like you hate them, you lose. Like that's what Odd Future was all about.
Yeah.
Like it was like they were trying to change the N word, change the F word to be different things, and like because they knew it pissed people off.
Yeah.
They're like, why do you use the N word? And like to piss old white people off, like you would like say that shit to anyone.
Tyler the Creator would say that in interviews, man. He's a very creative individual, man. I think I mean, as hip hop as like one of his like main products probably pales in comparison to like the style that he kind of introduced, you know, like as far as like fashion and stuff like that guy really was and is unique, man. Like he has a kind of a uniqueness about him. Say what you want about like his music and stuff, but his whole outlook and like fashion and style was just very unique.
Like love him or hate him. I think Tyler is the SoundCloud rap side of people that people could gravitate to.
Yeah.
And
Did he
then
start off on SoundCloud?
No. I'm not saying that he
okay.
did. I'm just saying he's on that spectrum, like rap and hip hop.
Yes.
And then you had Mac DeMarco at the same time do like the sad boy, but also like a fisherman like type look, you know?
Yeah.
Bandcamp kids, you know? Like at the same time, both those people came out and were so iconic, and people were so all about like, oh, I gotta get a fish hat, or like, you know, like those small caps, those shallow caps.
Yeah.
I gotta get a windbreaker and pants that are like tight around the ankles. You know, and like, oh, have the windbreaker open and have a plain white t-shirt on underneath with the circle sunglasses.
Yeah.
And smoke cigarettes. Do I need to go on? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy like how in a scenario like that, have you ever like seen somebody like Kanye West, man, will like wear a specific like shirt, just a random shirt you can get at Walmart, and that thing sells out like in 2 days.
Kanye is crazy. The Kanye glasses, remember those? Like the lines across them?
That was middle school for me.
They're now a default.
What does that mean?
Like, you can get them anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, he started that.
Yeah.
And it's literally a default across the world for a type of sunglasses.
Oh, and by the way, it's the dumbest thing ever. You can't
Yeah.
see anything while you're
Yeah.
wearing it. It's
Yeah.
literally pointless.
I see so many people wearing them.
Nuh-uh, come on. It's
Oh my
2018.
God,
Who's wearing the
I see a lot
Kanye
of people wear
shades?
those in the summertime. I see it.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're still everywhere.
Oh, dude, if you see that, you just
I
gotta
went down like Ocean
roast them.
City, like both summers, that just passed. It's ridiculous what you see anymore.
You ever watched Boondocks on Adult Swim?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Remember, they're trying to blackmail Huey into doing something, and Huey's like, "No, there's no way I'm going through with it." He's like, "Nah, man, we got a picture of you wearing Kanye West shades," and he's like, "I never did that." He's like, "It's Photoshop." He's like, "But no one will be able to tell the difference." He's like, "All right, I'm in." No, it was the kickball episode where they're trying to get him to join the kickball team.
Yo, I gotta rewatch that. I'm rewatching them now, actually.
They're really well animated, dude. I think Aaron Magruder's production team or whoever's in charge of the animation director, they outsourced to Japan to animate all those episodes. So like they were all animated by like real Japanese like anime houses. That's why it looks so good.
Yeah,
man.
I was gonna say that's like really well done. Like, and I love how everyone knows karate in that.
Dude, that's what I was obsessed with as a kid. Like I was like everybody can fight for some reason.
Like the R. Kelly thing, like everyone starts fighting outside, like there's like karate kicks and all this crazy shit going on.
Bushido Brown, man.
Yeah.
He
Oh
says
my
all these
God.
lines from Bruce Lee movies. Were you ever into like kung fu movies and stuff like that?
No, not really. I wanted to. Like I could never like find them as a kid. And,
Netflix
like,
has them all now, dude.
Really?
They're really cool. A lot of the ones on there anyways.
I gotta get some names.
Yeah.
What to look up.
No, I'll drop you some stuff, man.
Perfect.
I like the whole premise of that whole thing though. So it's cool, man. Like with music, it's kind of more than just what you do. Like you said that without it, you don't even know what you'd be doing. So it's like more of your life philosophy, really.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not to get too deep on you.
Couple of the characters are like people. I wouldn't say people, but like are entities I've met in like psychedelic
trips
trips and stuff.
Nice,
Yeah.
man.
Like, there's this character Jeff. That's like this horrible fucking demon I saw on LSD once, and he was a ceiling fan.
You want to elaborate on that? I think you told me before, but it's an interesting story.
Oh my god! All right, so I save this for parties and shit.
Okay, if you want to talk about it, you don't have to.
No, I'm kidding. Like I'm just saying, like when I'm shit faced, like this comes out, and someone starts talking about acid, and like, nah, dude, I'm done, or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, like I was like in my parents' house, and I like know my parents' house is like over 100 years old,
Right.
and so I'm just like laying in my room, like trying to like go to sleep on like really good out, and I'm just like, oh man, let me try and think of like Legend of Zelda stuff, and all I could think of is like crayon drawings of like Link and Zelda. I'm just like, wow, I'm really bad at this, so I'm just gonna let it do whatever, and so like I kind of just like let my eyes roll back, and it kind of like took me on like a camera lens trip to like one of my posters, and it was just some guitars. It was like Dimebag Darrell guitars.
So your eyes were closed at this point.
My eyes were like open, but
okay.
like, they're kind of like rolling back, and then like it was like bowling room length,
Oh, snap.
My,
Yeah.
my room got like really long.
It's stretched out like the sound effect would be like.
Yeah, it was like, and it's like I have those in my head like all the time.
Yeah. Wait, all the time, not just then.
Probably all the time.
Okay.
Like if like if the room went like and I'm sober, I'd still go like whoa in my head.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Yeah.
I
So the
see-
room is elongated.
Yeah, and like I'm for some reason I'm focusing on this poster, like I'm getting tunnel vision on like just
Yeah.
these guitars, and it goes like staticky, and then like I see this crazy shape fade in and out. It was like just this weird symbol, and I was like, what the fuck was that? So, like I kind of like woke up like from that in a sense of like, all right, and I like rolled my eyes back again, and I was like, all right, that was weird, because as soon as I did that, I noticed like all my hoodies hung up in my room and like my closet was open. And I'm just like, huh, that could be like a bunch of people wearing hoods in my room. Blink.
Ugh.
And as soon as I blinked, I saw like Slipknot and Mushroom Head all wearing my hoodies standing at the foot of my bed. And like, I was just like, oh, wow.
What sounds are going through your head now?
I was like knives, like scratching.
man.
I'm just like, oh, wow. Like literally, I'm like, oh, that's pretty crazy.
See, I
like,
think that's the difference between you and me. Like, I'd already be outside at this point.
I'm literally like
Looking
saying
at the
to
sky.
myself, wow, that's crazy. Like,
But not like a stay calm kind of way. Like, this is all just a trip. Like, you're just like, okay,
I'm
like,
just
I'm
like,
accepting this.
I'm just like, whoa, like I didn't know I could do that with this. Like
Yeah.
I tried doing crayon drawings a second ago,
And
in my
now
mind.
it just got real.
And yeah, and
Yeah.
so the creepiest part, I had an Aphex Twin hoodie, and it was white, and it was like on the
They're
ones-
trans, aren't they?
It's a IDM. He's like grandfather of electronic music,
Okay, cool.
but like it was all across the one side of the room, and the guy wearing it was on the opposite side of the crowd of people, and I was
The crowd
like,
of people being your hoodies.
yeah,
This is crazy.
and
bro.
and I'm like, best not think that, and I'm playing like ambient music at the time,
yeah.
so I'm like, best not think that I could have a bad trip. And as soon as I like said bad trip, it was like light switch, like my eyes started to flicker, and as they flickered, I saw all the people disappear.
And you're completely alone at this
I'm
point.
complete-
And
I'm-
you're in your bed.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
just chilling.
it's all dark,
Yeah.
and all the people disappear except for white Aphex Twin guys, just now alone. And then he's like poof, and now he's crouched on my dresser, which is at least 4 feet tall, and he like flashes across the dresser and then flashes right next to me in bed, like standing on a pillow, like crouched down on a pillow,
Yo.
and then gone. And at that moment, it felt like Satan grabbed my neck.
Whoa.
And I was just like, whoa. And like my neck was like really like tensing up. And it's like my whole spine. And it forced me to like look up at my ceiling. And my ceiling fan had these lights with like black rims, and the light bulbs had like a stamp on them. So it was just like these two off light bulbs, just it's these eyeballs just staring at me like angry machine, cold metallic. And then like the third light came around, it was just like this long like crazy fucking mouth, and it was just like this
I'm glad I have a video of this.
the craziest face coming at me. I'm just like, I'm literally like, wow.
So
like,
basically, your ceiling fan, due to this trip, now looks like a giant imposing robot dinosaur ready to swallow you alive.
I wouldn't even call it a dinosaur. It was like a demon, man. It was just
This
like
is
the
so scary.
scariest shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
So
I had a white paper mache light, like, you know, the Asian balls.
yeah, the one, it's like illumination more than it is like light actually shining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was black and hairy now. It was like drooping black hair.
What?
And I'm just like, I'm literally going like, holy shit. Like, I'm like, holy shit. I'm more like wowed at the drug at this
Yeah.
point than like what I'm really
Then
seeing.
fear.
I'm then fear at this point.
You're just like, this is impressive.
I'm so impressed. I'm like, I'm getting my money's worth. This is $10. And I was like, holy shit. So I like sit up and I'm like, wow. And like all my sheets were like, if that monster had its own TV show and you can go to Kmart and pick up the bedspread and curtains combo.
Yeah.
Because my bedspread looked like the face, but like only 2 circles and like a box mouth.
What?
So it was like a cartoon version of that sewn into my sheets, and like I'm feeling it knitted into my sheets. And
Wait,
I'm
you
like,
started like while you were doing this, so you're picking up and feeling it?
I'm feeling it's like my comforter. I'm
Oh,
picking up my
bro.
comforter and feeling it. I'm going like, whoa, this is insane. I'm looking at my windows, and they all have like, it looks like a plastic wrap over my windows with the face, the cartoon face all over it. And I'm just like, wow.
See, I wish there was footage of you, like just like a static shot of you in your bed, just looking around and doing all this, like looking up.
Oh
like,
my God. And it was so crazy.
just a wide shot.
And like I sit at the edge of my bed and it sounds like a train's about to hit me. Or I just feel this
Accumulating noise.
Like something's coming.
Oh no.
And I'm just like, okay, phone's on 2% and on 1% the ambient music, which is now like horrifying sounding. Yeah. It's like,
so now this is really bad.
Yeah.
Or are you still in the space of like, I have control over this somewhat?
No, I'm like, well, I'm gonna fucking die. Like this monster is horrifying. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm like, but I am like, this is a crazy drug. Like I know I'm on something. I'm not like this is gonna last forever. Bullshit.
And were you like one of those people that were like, I'm never gonna do this again? In the moment, you're like, there's no way I can ever, like, lesson learned. We'll never succumb to this again.
Well, as soon as I like stood up, I saw my MacBook was on. Like it had battery because like you grab it, power on the side. I'm like, yo, cat videos all night, and I was fine. So like right after like I started watching cat videos, I texted my friend who dropped me off, and they were like, I know, I was just like, just had the worst trip ever. LOL, fine now. And they're like, I dropped you off 2 minutes ago. And I'm like, no fucking way. I was more like, just wow.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
This is something. And I like Googled sunrise, and I
was that your first experience with?
No, that was probably my like 8th or 7th experience. And that's what they typically say. You have a great time and then there's like, I think you learn from it, or like, you get existential and then it's really hard after that because then it gets too existential.
So if you're someone who's naturally inclined to existential thinking, you're
gonna want to do it. And it's gonna be incredible, but it's something that it's something you won't get addicted to for sure because people don't get addicted to acid because you don't want to. Like ask anyone who does acid regularly is a fucking moron. Like you're people don't do that. Yeah. Like everyone who does acid is like maybe a few months apart, like if you like doing acid, or at least a few weeks apart. Okay. Like if you like doing it a lot. Yeah. But like most people,
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not saying I'm an expert, but like
no,
most people don't go around doing acid all the time. It's like it's a sometime snack for sure.
Right.
And it's definitely a set and setting thing too. You can't be like, I lost my job today and my girlfriend left. Time to do all this.
It's like, time to go on an extreme adventure.
Hey bud, let's calm down now.
let's settle down for a second.
Let's wait for next week.
Yeah, let's just let this day end.
Yeah. Like it's like you said, how tired are you? Yeah. I wouldn't. You know how long this is? Because it's really something when it goes south, because you can go through a time. Yeah. And like people have PTSD. I have PTSD from that time. Seriously.
From the room, or specifically that experience that you had while on
just acid? The experience. Like there's been times on oh my god. Like the last time I did acid was a couple months ago.
Okay.
And it was at my apartment and stuff, and so it was like
just a day you didn't have anything to do. And
well, I was randomly XXYYXX, this like,
bro, I was trying to go
at the Coda. I didn't know what the Coda was.
Dude, it's a club.
I know now,
bro. I was so close to going.
You know how
I love them.
I found out it was a club by arriving deep in an acid trip. Can you imagine going to the club, like I was expecting to see a show. I thought it was a show.
It wasn't?
It was just a club.
Oh, well, Kodak kind of has a joint thing. So it's like a bar. For people who have been to Coda in Philadelphia, it's like a bar, and then it has a stage. Yeah. So it's like both at the same time. He was
on the stage. Yeah, there was a DJ on the stage, and then XXYYXX came out, and he had all this crazy light show stuff going on. Yeah. But it wasn't like, hey, man, we're here at the show and looking at the artist. I'm like, no, there's no looking at the artist. He's pressing play and like adjusting it. Like
Yeah, what we were just talking
everyone
about.
knows that
Yeah.
too. They're just here to dance.
Yeah, there's nothing to watch.
Me and my friend are tripping balls in this fucking nightclub, just going like, wow, I really like, I can't believe he's doing this song. Like, I'm like, damn, people are gonna think we're fishing. Like, we just drugged that girl and we're like waiting for her to like get woozy on the dance floor because we're just standing in the back and
Yeah.
I'm getting all these like, this isn't good. So like we left like 30 minutes into his set.
Yeah. Kicking in the feeling that you felt before, or you're just like, I can't be here anymore.
Yeah, but earlier that night, I just had like the biggest like flash of Jeff, that monster, and I was just like,
That's what you call the fan monster.
yeah.
Oh,
And it was
man.
just so, it was just so like,
Is he a
Damn.
character in Forest Kids?
yeah. Eventually,
Oh, bro.
yeah.
It all comes
He's
together.
a mixtape right now.
Oh, sweet, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
Fan monster that you see in your trip becomes a mixtape. Man.
Yeah, he's really creepy because it's he's like a personification thing. So like there's a second realm. It's called the second realm, and everyone like,
in the lore of Forest
in
Kids.
the lore of
just to
Forest Kids, like
specify. Yeah.
this like is realm 1,
Yeah.
and then there's realm 2, and so
Got a
like
red
it's
pill.
kind of like the Upside Down,
Ah.
but like not really. It's because Upside Down's like all like swampy and shit like that. It's kind of like in a carbon copy, but like empty in a sense. You know?
Alternate universe.
Yeah, alternate universe, and like everything exists. But so he's in there and he's like personified. So like say like if you're in the realm, like you're susceptible to like the beasts and other crazy demons that are in the second realm. So like
Right.
so say, okay, we're in your house in the second realm, and then like you just start noticing like, hey, I think those stairs kind of look like a face, and then like before you know it, like the shelf is now a face, and then you blink again and it's like the cabinet's a face, and it's like getting closer to you before you, and like you look here,
The microphone.
it's when you focus on things, it becomes a personified. So you look at, oh shit, he's right here, you know.
Which is pretty much a demonstration of what you experienced during that trip, which is you kept seeing the faces and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Interesting.
It's real, and it's like consuming. Like it'll like make you go insane.
Well, it's the whole idea that you can't escape from this thing. I think the scariest monsters or things that we have that we imagine are the ones we can't get away from. Like everybody has those dreams where you're running from something, your feet's going really slow. Or in my case, I have a dream that like I'm punching something that's attacking me, but my punches mean nothing. Like it's that kind of you can't evade enemy. That's the one that's like really leaves an impression on us.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, I mean, that's why I always thought that's why I like scary movies a lot, because a lot of people shit on like the Paranormal Activity stuff, because, like yeah, I think that they went too far with it, yeah. But like the first movie,
Well, the concept was great for the first film.
it was
Conceptually, really good.
brilliant, because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we have a low budget and we need. It's like, you know, that meme where it's like, guys, we need a new monster for this decade that's
Yeah.
gonna make everyone go crazy. It's like, all right, I got it for you. You ready? Yeah. It's all designed. It's all perfect right now. Really? Yeah. He's right here.
Huh.
He's standing right next to you.
Spooky.
It's like, oh shit. Win. Sold.
Spooky, man.
It's like, and how much does it make to make that in a film? Absolutely nothing.
Right. Yeah, man. The one I thought was the scariest was the one where it goes back to the 80s. It's like the prequel one.
What's it? I've only seen like the first two.
Okay, well, and again, I've seen all of them,
Really?
but the prequel one is like actually one you should look into because it's legitimately not trying to stretch out the story. Like it has connections to the first film, but like it's just it takes you back to kind of a time that's more alien to us. Because, you know, like, we're not that old. Like, we didn't really live through, like, what it was like in, like, the 80s and stuff.
But
so,
it has cameras?
yeah.
It's still like the cameras?
Yeah.
Is it bad?
And I mean, the quality of the cameras?
It's
really,
like hard to watch.
I don't really remember. No. It's like standard definition, like what you would expect. But it's really good in execution. There's a scene in that movie. And if I'm spoiling Paranormal Activity 4, get with the program and watch it.
It's the
Right?
fourth one? Okay.
It's 2018. But it's a prequel. the guy is wary that there is activity going on in his house. There's a scene I'll never forget. Cinematography wise, if that's even a descriptive word, it's like a really genius idea. He gets to survey, so his kitchen and his family room are divided by like this pillar, and the pillar has like a fireplace and stuff. So to observe both rooms at the same time, he attaches a camera to a fan, a desk fan that goes back and forth like this. So you're seeing the perspective of the camera as it goes back and forth between the two
That's
rooms.
tough.
Yeah, just
I
imagining
already
it, right? Imagining it. And the thing is, the fan moves so slowly, man, that like it's really bothersome. And I've never witnessed a more intense scene of like suspense. Like you're waiting to see what the camera is going to reveal. And when it finally makes its big reveal, you're like, whoa, like you're blown away. Definitely check that movie out. But yeah,
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
I'm not a scary movie person, man, because once you put like a soundtrack in it, I'm lost. Like you lost me. But if you're doing something like Blair Witch Project, or you're doing something like Paranormal Activity, where you like it's mockumentary style, you cut out the sound, I'm with it, bro. I'm with it.
Did you see the new Blair Witch?
No, because that looked like it was not.
Dude.
That's all you have to say. Well, give me your thing on it.
I saw it, man. It was I hate new movies, period.
Why's
Just,
that?
I don't know, man. I just like I just know people are acting anymore, and it's just like I said, it's like music, it's just a certain flavor. If
Yeah.
it's not the flavor, so like this one really surprised me how much I liked it because, oh my god, it reminded me of Marble Hornets. Did you ever watch Marble Hornets?
It sounds like an experimental movie.
It's Slender Man. It's the Slender Man.
Like the inspiration
series.
for it.
It's they probably took it off. They like got their idea from Creepypasta,
What year?
like the original thing. It's like 2007 or something, like
Oh, okay,
2008
it's kinda
maybe.
old.
It's like older, like that. It's on YouTube, and it's like entry to like 58, 60, 70, and it's all YouTube videos. You can just put on the YouTube playlist and have at it for like
Scary?
It's great because it's all handhelds and they're just walking around the forest, and it's like looking for Slender Man because they're like friend. It's like I found my friend's tapes who went missing, but like apparently he started getting really obsessed with these tapes for some reason. I'm going to document them, maybe find something.
Tapes is always a good horror premise.
And so like he's playing all these tapes and
Sinister, if you ever seen that movie.
yeah. And it's just like all about how like his friend like would like put the camera out his window and you can only see Slender Man through a camera. You know?
Man.
So like you would like see like the figure and like all this crazy shit, and then like there's a mixture of these like mask people who like also like kind of like worship Slender Man or like give people to Slender Man and stuff. So like they'll like turn it, like it's just like maybe 8 minutes of you just watching this guy walk through a forest and then walk through this like burned out hospital, and then you hear like chink behind him and you're just like fuck, and he turns around and like no one's there, turns back around, Slender Man or like something. You're just like, ah, shit, this is crazy, and like it's just so good. I those were really creepy. Like if you like Paranormal Activity,
all independently made, or
pretty sure they're all independently made.
Wow.
Marble Hornets, awesome series. Like you can buy it as like a DVD.
Can you?
And they're just like back, like all the entries. And
I like
even, like,
that
background
kind of thing where you could actually like collect it if you wanted to. I was gonna ask you if you've seen a specific film, Strangers. You ever seen that?
I was about to talk about The Strangers too. Like,
well, I was gonna make the connection with masked people.
Yeah.
Like, normal everyday people with masks, for some reason that's really scary to us.
Oh yeah.
But like in the 50s and 40s, it's like, oh, these are kids are playing around. But like we look at pictures of like times like that with like kids wearing masks and we're like, why is this so unsettling? But they're making it into a series now. I'm not sure if you saw that.
What? Like a mask series?
No. The Strangers is going to be a series. So that film.
I thought it was a movie. They're making another movie. I thought.
No, I think it was. It's a series that's being advertised right now. But I don't know. I could be wrong.
I think they're also making another movie.
Okay. But yeah, what were you about to say about Strangers? Because that's one that like my one roommate specifically always brings up. Like,
That's a great movie. I mean, like, they win it already with the one scene where, like, husband leaves and like she's like looking around, like she looks out the window, and the dude just walks into the dining room, and then walks out of the dining room, and you're just like it doesn't do anything. She doesn't see him.
yeah,
It's just there, and it goes away, and you're just like, good job.
right, exactly. I think the horror in that scene obviously comes from the fact that there's someone in the house that like is not doing anything at all.
Just like
it's
turning on the record and walking away.
it's weird because there's something about horror, like there's less fear when there's immediate action. Like if he was to smash a bottle on the table
And would just
and
be like, I'm
chase her
here, bitch.
and chase her around, yeah,
Yeah, I would
you'd
be
be
like,
less afraid. In the actual scenario, if that was you inside the house and someone was chasing you with a bottle, you'd be more afraid. But like it's the subtlety of you're observing. It's always like that in horror movies. You're observing something that's about to happen. Inside, deep down, you know what's about to happen. It's the anticipation of watching that happen that makes you uncomfortable. It's always anticipation when it's horror movies, man. You know? And I think that's how it is with bad dreams too. Like if you're having a nightmare, you know what I'm saying? You ever have a nightmare where it's getting to like a part where you know it's gonna be like kind of crazy, and so you tell yourself like, "Oh, wait a second, this is a dream. Wake up, wake up, wake up. I don't want to see this part." That's like the whole science behind like horror movies, you know?
At least Freddy Krueger for sure.
That's everyone's like first exposure to that type of media. But yeah,
Like, I've always had like dreams that were like Saw related. Like because like that was the
Jeez,
worst.
man.
That was the worst fear. It's like, oh, don't be careful. That guy could come in your house and kill you. Yeah, big whoop. I hope he kills me. Like, I just hope he doesn't come in my house, drug me, and then drag me off to some psychological bullshit I gotta do where I mutilate myself and probably just die because I'm too much of a pussy to rip my own arms off or
yeah,
something.
find the key behind your eye.
Exactly.
Or something
Like
that.
I'm not doing that, man.
Yeah, what a phase
I'm
that
done.
was, man.
I'm cashing out.
Some of these just gotta, I don't know.
Man, and everyone like always I would probably freak out for a little bit and then be like, all right, I've got like 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
It's a nice light. I like appreciate one last thing and then all right, I'm dead.
Yeah, man. Well, I think you're a spirited optimist in the way that you kind of have a positive outlook, man, on life, which is pretty cool. I mean, even with the scary things you experienced in your trip, you're like, oh, this is pretty crazy. I'm scared, but it's nice, you know?
It's gonna fuck me up forever.
Yeah. But yeah,
I'm cool.
You're a very positive person, dude.
You find out who you are when you watch House Hunters. Because, like, guys like, oh, man, I don't want to clean the pool, though. It's like, you're getting a pool, man.
Yeah.
Like, you really start being like, man, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You figure out stuff, who you are.
You're talking about the show where, like, they have to, like, rehabilitate all this, like...
No, House Hunters. Like,
Oh.
where it's like, people were, like, trying to move somewhere. And it's like, oh, Jean wants to move to France, but doesn't know. But let's see if she can find all the things she wants in a house. Like, okay, so I have 3 houses lined up for you, and like they go to each house.
The refurbishing stuff.
Yeah, they're just like, all right, this one doesn't have the thing I like, but it does have that. It's like, but this one doesn't have a good bathroom. And it's like, yo, but you're getting all that. Like, look at that balcony or something
Yeah.
like that. So
Perspective is what you're talking about.
yeah, you really figure yourself out. You're like, yeah, that guy's a pessimist. I'm not like him.
Yeah, I don't know. I sense that in a lot of like you said, the music that you make a lot of times like upbeat, like really pretty. It seems to be like a genuine attitude when I talk to you that you have on like your life and stuff like that, man. Like, do you care to commentate on that, or that's just the way that you've always been?
That's the way. I don't know. My brother killed himself when I was in high school, so that was like traumatizing. You know, that was fucked me up for sure. But like, it also made me go like, well, you could die any day, so I'm gonna have fun and make the best of it. Like, I don't want to die being like, damn. You know, I want to just be like, oh, well, that was cool. That was a crazy way for me to die, but all right, I had a good run. You know, like,
Yeah.
I really don't give a shit about the small stuff and like wasting time. Like, I really care about my time. You know, like if someone's like in my life and I feel like they're just coasting along. I want to do something, you know. It's like
Right.
I really don't have. I try to like cut all the fat out of my life, if you know what I'm saying. You know,
Yeah.
I just want to do what I want to do.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's a lot of people that can accumulate as fat in your life, you know, where they're just like putting negative thoughts into your head and
Yeah, you
and
don't
all this
need
stuff.
all like people who just like you hang out with them and all they talk about is like their bullshit or like some argument they had or like some fight with someone they had. It's like, yo, I don't need this. Or it's like, all right, great. That's you. That's great how you're all upset. Enjoy being upset. Like I
Mhm.
just can't get mad at shit anymore. Really, like I can get frustrated and have like disdain, yeah, but holding like those kind of heavy emotions are like worthless. They just make you slower, I feel. Unless it's like a revenge thing. I feel like that'll give you some fuel.
So you're all for positive thinking except when it comes to revenge.
Yeah, revenge is probably best served hot too. I don't know
Ooh,
about, you know.
cold.
I
Yeah.
don't get it. Why cold? That- served cold? I don't get that. I won't burn their fucking mouth, you know?
Yeah. I mean, thank you for sharing that, by the way. I know you shared that with me earlier, the story about your brother. And it's, you know, it's definitely something that like you have as an experience in your life that gave you a lot of perspective, man. And I think like that's part of, like you said, part of the reason that you're able to compartmentalize your emotions. And a lot of people don't really have a nuanced like look at that kind of stuff because they've never had to deal with anything like that, man. And it's just like I
Yeah.
can only imagine, dude. I have no idea what that would be like, but I feel like, you know, that coupled with how your brother inspired you to do music, like his memory lives on through something like that. I would
Exactly,
dare
yeah.
to say, just through observation, like through what you're making and how you're acting as a response.
For sure. I mean, that's a big reason why I picked up guitar. You know,
Yeah.
just be like, I mean, like, he left all these guitars around, you know? Might as well put them to use. Shit like that. I've always just like had, you should play drums. Like,
Yeah.
bounce around in my head for a long time now. So
Yeah, man.
it's definitely something I take with me, and definitely something I put all the music into for. You could say it's all for him in a sense.
Yeah. But at the same way, like it's become you now, man. It's really cool, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like Forest Kids and all the stuff that you're making. It's just like I can't wait to see, like, especially with this episode, like you look on this like maybe 5 years from now and just see like where you were with Forest Kids, man. Like and like it's already done. I don't know what your time scale is for Forest Kids. I didn't want to ask you that question because it's probably very lucid, but like to look back now and see this idea and like how far it's evolved is probably going to be a pretty cool experience, man.
Yeah, I mean, I have dreams of this stuff. Like, I don't see it going away. I don't see at least the next island isn't on the horizon, you know? Like, I'm still very comfortable. I'm still finding the lands and the curvatures that is Forest Kids. Like, Forest Kids isn't even it's barely halfway mapped out, like of
Right.
what it's really going to be. So I've dreams of and aspirations of like sending it to like to the stars or some shit, like Tom DeLonge's whole thing where
Yeah.
like he does poet and stuff like that. Like those graphic novels are crazy.
Yeah.
And like that'd be a dream come true. Like the dude who I listened to growing up, who also is making crazy graphic novels, like pick up my graphic novel, like
Yeah.
slamming, like that, like something like that. Like this is like baby steps, like of like things like I aspired to do with this project. You know, like uh just get these characters, like you're doing the character designs for me, and that's awesome.
Dude.
And I can finally like materialize like these things I'm thinking of, and
Yeah,
like
man.
I can actually have uh like, yeah, this is this character, and this is what it looks like, not just like me fumbling my words trying to explain it to somebody, you know.
Yeah, it becomes more tangible and real.
Exactly.
And that's something that's so addicting. I talked to you about that when I first met you, where it's like what's in your head is becoming real. And as it's becoming real, you just get more and more excited. You're like, wait a second, this isn't just all me. Like it's like here,
Mm-hmm.
and I can touch it. You know, like I can grab it and be like, this is the product. And it's a great feeling.
That's why I like music a lot too, because I feel like I have a very active imagination, or you could say I take my mind places. You know, I take it on trips and things like that. And this is like I was talking about this earlier, like my meat controller, you know, in this world, because like my mind's like in a fluff world, it's just like gases, you know, that's like where
Yeah.
your mind is. It can't take that back here, but I have this meat controller and I have these instruments in front of me that I can make what I'm hearing. So that's why I try to do like, oh, I'm really out there on this thing. Oh, I can make something that sounds like what I'm mentally hearing, you know, if
It's a-
that makes sense.
No, it's a disconnect with your body, but also the understanding that your body is completely governed by your mind. You know, the synonymous. And you told that to me, and I actually used that on a friend. I was like,
Yeah.
man, I'm just a meat controller. And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, yo, this dude said this. It was the craziest thing. But yeah, that's essentially what we are, man. And it's all about how good are you with the controller. Just like any video game, bro.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? How can you contort it to make what you want
It's
to
like
make?
you're hearing the physical with the meat and all the table and the rocks. You got wood rocks and you got skin and bones, you know? Well, they got like gases and like clouds and stuff. Like that's where your mind is.
Yeah, man. No, I feel you. Yeah, the mind is definitely on a plane that's more out there. This kind of whole conversation has been out there.
It's like fog, you know?
Yeah.
I always picture like your thoughts are in a fog or a mist, misty, rainy. It's all illustrious. Like the last level in Pokemon Snap.
Oh, yeah. I'd say the draw distance is definitely like, you know, you won't see something until like it's right up against
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
exactly.
that kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
That really is how the human brain works, man, when we think about stuff. That's why we make mistakes, man.
You know what I'm talking about? Pokemon Snap? That
Oh,
last
bro, of
level?
course, yeah.
That's hard. That was bullshit.
64, right?
Yeah.
Nintendo 64.
Me and my friend played that whole game in like one afternoon.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, man.
Welcome back.
You're going on these tours and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, it's been forever since I played that in
Oh.
Pokemon Stadium.
Oh my god, yeah. You know, I never got about Pokemon Stadium.
What?
When you battle your friend and you can like, you know, select all the Pokemon in like what order.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the fucking point of picking the other 5?
What do
You start off with the one, and then you can choose any of the other ones.
I think that, and I'm probably so wrong about this. I think the strategy is you're trying to correlate or predict what your opponent's order is going to be, so you can like match a weakness with the Pokemon that
But
you
it
might go up against
doesn't
next.
matter because you can change your order in the mid-fight. You can decide who goes out next.
But can't you get a turn in on that somebody? That's the thing. Like you take up a turn switching out. So
yeah,
it's like,
but like
at least
if
they
you
get, a
get
hit on
defeated,
you. Yeah.
you still select who goes out.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
I'm like always like, why? like
Yeah.
I don't know, just like dumb stuff like that. Like I love ripping on N64
That's such a random thought.
for dumb shit like that. And like in Mario Party, instead of just
Which one?
3,
Ooh.
instead of just
2 is the big one, man.
really.
Dude, the cowboy arena? No, the space one, man. Where that little thing chases you around.
I gotta get 2. 3 is
Alright.
awesome.
Yeah. What were you saying?
But like I don't know, like every single time you play the game, it's like you want to hear the rules, and you're really just thinking, "Yeah, I want to play."
Yeah.
And it's
you
like,
just
"All right,
press-
let's hear the rules." like,
I can't believe I made this mistake.
it's so good though. Like,
Yeah, man.
That's like my favorite console. for sure.
64. There's something magical about it, man. And obviously a lot of it's
'Cause
rooted
it's
in,
like
in
cartridges,
nostalgia.
you know. You go.
Yeah, dude. There's something about that. There's something satisfying about like having the cartridge in and flicking the switch like and then it working. How was that in your like as a kid in your mind where you saw the screen go black and you're like, oh, after you blew into the cartridge you're like, dude, it's working.
That is a crazy thing. How did you find out about you have to blow into isn't that crazy how every single kid was like, yeah, if it don't work, you gotta like blow into it. What?
My neighbor Phil, I watched him do it.
Yeah,
he was just like,
Robbie.
yeah. He was just like, hold on, bro. And he would blow into the slot too. He would blow into the
Yeah.
thing, like he'd wipe it on his shirt. There's all sorts of like, just like kid superstitions that you had with old video games with
That's
those cartridges.
the beauty of them, though.
But that's gone forever. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to sound like the old man, but like,
No, but
you
you're
know,
right though.
no generation of gamers will ever have to worry about that because like everything's downloaded DLC. Like you don't got to worry about like knocking a cartridge on like
Yeah,
a table.
I do one harmonica, and then you rest
Click.
it in there, and then you rest it, and then shuck. You rest it right on top, and chuck.
Flip the switch.
And then you hold the switch up a couple seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you get it every time.
And when you heard that sound, bro, you were like, we're in.
Mhm. Or if it was like Kirby or something, it was always just like a quick one, and then like the intro, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, man. It gave you such a feeling of empowerment.
That and the PS1 start was always my favorite.
Oh, bro. That red triangle, yeah. No, that red rectangle. No, what was it? It was like a red
It was
diamond.
a diamond, yeah.
Diamond,
it was the
yeah,
orange
yeah.
diamond. And then it would be like swing. Like and give like the weird PlayStation PS.
Yeah.
That always just like made me go like, that's the coolest symbol I've ever seen.
Oh man.
It
That's
looked like the Game of
that's a
Life.
big symbol in vaporwave too.
Yeah, exactly. It's so vaporwave. Like just to be PlayStation 1, like all those PlayStation 1 things.
Yeah.
Like you ever see the LCD Dream Theater? LSD Dream Theater,
Is
something
that
like
an
that?
indie game?
It's a PlayStation 1 game, and you just walk around, and that's it. You're in a dream, and you just walk around, and it's different each time. Like every wall and pole and door is a door.
Dude, are you talking about the Japanese one where you can run around?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then the Shadow Man chases you.
So for those who don't know about this game, Game Grumps did this. I think I first saw this on Game Grumps. It's LCD game dream system. What's it called?
It's like it's either LSD or LCD.
All right, so we might have completely lost people here, but there's a game called LCD something, man. And like you are this guy, it's first person perspective, and you're walking around in like what appears to be a Japanese house, but if you touch anything, like a wall, a character, you get transported to like somewhere else completely
It
different.
could
Man.
be like a Japanese town square
Right.
or like a mall.
Yeah.
And then like eventually you're chased by this
Face.
like samurai guy.
Oh, there's one of those too. Yeah, yeah.
And it's just he's just all black, and you
Yeah.
just kind of like boop boop, and you just got to keep running,
Gotta
going to
run.
different place.
There's all sorts of stuff. There's like a bird that'll fly at you, and like if the bird touches you, you go to a different place. It is literally the trippiest and craziest game I've probably ever watched. Never played it myself, but wait, do you have it?
No, I don't have
Okay,
it.
I think it's only
played it
available
on
in Japan.
I played it on like my computer once.
Okay.
I downloaded an emulator and stuff.
Sweet, I need to get that.
Yeah, it's like if you drink a whole bottle of Delsum and walk around your hometown, it's the same experience. Like, wow, every doorway takes me to a new realm.
If any kids listen to this, man, don't
Yeah, don't do that.
Just play video games, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot safer. But Paul, I want to thank you for your time, man. I don't want to keep you too long. Already, I think we've been going for like an hour, maybe 2 hours. I
Oh,
could
shit.
be wrong. So I don't want you to miss out on anything. I know the big game is today.
Go birds.
Yeah, go birds, man. And for everybody who listens to this, thank you so much, Paul. I want to thank you for your time. Right now, I just want to allow you time to plug everything that you're working on that people can listen to. Take as much time as you need,
All right.
addresses, all that stuff, man.
Well, as I said, Express Window, Faintings 0135, beat tapes coming out this month.
Oh, yeah.
And almost every single month this year, there will be an album, EP, beat tape, or mixtape of some kind from one of the aliases, as what Forest Kids is. And Forest Kids is Aura Lind. It is Just the Architect. It's I Miss You. It's Crossing Bridges. It is, you could say Larry Nodder is in there. You could say my one project, Fever Aches, is in there. You got Express Window. You have Wave Complex. You have Haste, my lo-fi hip-hop stuff. And all these names and everything's on like Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Bandcamp, probably SoundCloud if you can find it. But like, you know, it's a mess in there. But you know, Forest Kids Collective. There's a YouTube for it. There's a SoundCloud, Spotify with all the stuff on it. There's some music videos on the YouTube coming out with some illustrations. Soon I'll be posting what I'm working with Andrew here in a few months maybe. And anyone who's like a writer, maybe want to help out. Same with like illustrations for backgrounds and other things like that. I'm always looking for help. Always looking for new artists to record as well. I do pretty cheap mastering, mixing, producing. I'm recording a band. I'm recording my friend Haley Dare. and she's really good. I'm in the band Cerulean Blue. We're recording a new album. Larry Nodder might come back for a little bit with original members. Just the Architects is gonna probably come back in the summer. I have a couple new projects coming up too, like Bleached Bison, Echo Annie, Orland, yeah, and a couple other people too. So stick around for those. Yeah,
A ton, man. Tons of stuff in
tons
the
of
works.
stuff.
Google Forest Kids Collective, and you'll find the Bandcamp. I think that has a lot of the music on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the YouTube is awesome. He makes some pretty crazy visuals, and that's my take on it, man. And again, you know, if you're looking to be creative and help out with this series, hit my man up. I'm drawing some character designs. Also, if you're out there, man, you a rapper, you try to make it in a trap game, hit up Paul, man. He'll help record you.
Yeah, Mad Matt. Matt Swayze is gonna making his little beat tape now. That's really cool stuff, actually.
Let's
So,
go. We
yeah.
got a lot of pots in the fire, man, or
Mhm.
whatever that expression is. It's been episode 23, man, with Paul. See you later.